Teaching your children or grandchildren about the ins and outs of personal finance sounds a little intimidating, but a new children's book called This Little Piggy is here to help you. It was written by a Bowdoin College graduate and the founder of Jac Arbour Wealth Management in Hallowell. Jac Arbour, thanks so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, of course. So, not a lot of books out there for kids talking about personal finance. There's stuff for adults, young adults, but what gave you the idea for this book?
So it came from a friend. His name is Don Hudson.
Yep.
He's the author of The 1 Minute Manager.
Okay.
And I was with him one day in Memphis, and he said, Jac, you know, your passion lies in the world of personal development, but your skill set's in personal finance. You should really consider writing a second book, which I had never planned on doing, and marry those two things together. And about 3 or 4 months later, over a bowl of cereal, I had one of those light bulb moments where I figured I'd write this children's story, which brings to life this little piggy who is very different, and tie in those financial literacy topics that I think America really needs to learn.
Yeah, that kids might not have the option of learning about otherwise. So there are a lot of lessons that you go over that focus on not just getting rich, but really building wealth. Something that you focus on now is a chartered financial consultant, if I got that right, with your clients. But the passion for this kind of work goes back to when you were like 9 years old or younger, you were saying.
Or younger, yeah. I mean, I remember being 5 or 6 years old and trying to, literally save my pennies, enroll those pennies, and I would bring them to the bank, which was only about a mile from my house. I remember what it felt like to take those, rolls of 50 cents and then put them in. They would stamp your passbook, and you'd see it become $5 and $10. And I would always have some sort of goal in terms of what I wanted to do with those funds. But yeah, some sort of mindset. I think it came from my grandfather. My grandfather worked, I'll never forget this, he worked for 14 years, 7 days a week, never missed one day. Wow. And he would always talk about the importance of hard work and saving, so you could see something in return for your exchange of time.
Yeah.
So, I learned the value of a dollar young. I come from a very large, loving French family who spent many, many years, many generations in the mill. And hard work is definitely something that I witnessed growing up.
Yeah, so you just mentioned your grandfather. Was he really the one that kind of taught you the ins and outs of building wealth, or did you learn some of these tips and tricks along the way too?
I would say my grandfather was the one who put the importance of hard work and saving on the radar. And then over time, I would, hear people throughout life, share different perspectives. I was on track at Bowdoin College to become a dentist, and I just knew that it was not my passion, it wasn't my path. And I started thinking, what do I really want to do? And my wonderful mother said, Jac, you've always been interested in investments and finance. Why don't you do something with banking or financial planning and teach other people, what you've learned and use your passion and your skill set? So that's when I went back to the American College for Financial Services and got my certified financial planner, chartered financial consultant. And there's this huge gap in America with financial literacy. It's actually becoming arguably the number one, possibly number two most important topic that schools are looking at for curriculums of what they're going to instill in the coming years. I think we have 17 states right now that have passed legislation to put financial literacy in schools. I testified about maybe 2 years ago on a bill where we might have something within the social studies curriculum here in Maine within the next year or so. But it's a very popular topic and being looked at heavily by many schools across America right now.
Yeah, what is, just in your work, what is like the number one mistake you see people make when they are trying to build wealth for themselves?
I think the number one thing is probably hoping that they get a certain result, but there's no actual plan in place.
Yep.
And it's very intimidating for a lot of people because, I was speaking with people before we came on today, how old are you? How old are you? 35, 36, 40, 50. And what did you have for financial literacy in school? And the answer across the board is nothing. So we are children, we become adults, we go into the workforce, and we start earning money, and we're just expected to maybe know what to do with it, but we've never been given the tools.
Yeah.
So your first question typically as a client to an advisor is, well, what do I not know? And what do I need to learn?
Yeah.
And how do I actually put together a plan? And a lot of people feel silly coming to a financial advisor because they're not sure what to ask.
Yeah, no,
They're not even really sure where to start.
Yeah.
So our job is to really just start with a conversation and make it extremely simple and lay it out and be non-intimidating and have them realize that you're just working with a human that happens to have a skill set that lies in that space of creating that plan that will give you the certainty that you're looking for. At the end of the day, I think that's what everybody wants, is they want some level of peace of mind or certainty And that all starts with a plan, and I highly suggest that it's in writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that. And I feel like it kind of knocks down those walls too, to just have like that personal conversation about what you're looking for and what you're looking to do. And I know that we've been talking about the personal finance side of things, but the book also touches on another message that really hit home for me, which was the importance of taking care of your community and taking care of other people, which I think is something we really all can learn from.
Yeah. I mean, if you ask most people, what does it mean to be rich? They're going to give you some answer that ties back to money. I've been blessed in my life to be surrounded with a lot of people who have been financially very successful. And if I track, why that is, it always comes back to a mindset.
Yeah.
And that mindset is one that's oftentimes rooted in gratitude. It is one where people have become what we call an inch wide and a mile deep. They have a very specific skill set. And they're very personally developed. They understand the importance of building wealth of different kinds, which Philip learns in this book. So wealth is not just money. We can be wealthy in the number of friends we have, the quality and the depth of those relationships. We can be wealthy in the form of having good health. When you think about how many things are going right in our bodies, for you and I to be here today, it's mind-blowing. It's extraordinary. So very grateful and blessed for that. But also family. Having family, extracurricular activities like I grew up playing basketball, baseball, being able to have some sort of either athletic or academic capability, kids that have an extraordinary talent in music. I'm not somebody who can play guitar, a piano, and it doesn't matter how much I try, it's just not going to happen. So I look at those and I say that's a form of wealth for that person. It's something that makes them unique.
Fantastic. Jac Arbour, thanks so much for being here to talk about your new book. And if you want to learn more about this Little Piggy, just head to the 207 section of our website or our mobile app. We'll have it right there for you. And stay with us. 207 is back right after this.